YouTube, it's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, reports surfaced yesterday that newly crowned unified lightweight world champion, Australian star boxer George Kambosos Jr., 20 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 wins by way of knockout, 28 years of age, 5'9.5" with a 70-inch arm reach. He shocked the world, defeating former unified lightweight world champion superstar boxer Teofimo Lopez November 27th in New York at Madison Square Garden, the most famous arena in the world, winning a majority decision, dropping Teofimo Lopez in the first round, facing adversity, getting dropped in the 10th round, weathering the storm, getting up and winning the championship round, the 11th and 12th round, controlling the pace. With that said, George Kambosos Jr. has been linked to a few fighters. George Kambosos Jr. should have a no-brainer fight against undefeated WBC lightweight world champion superstar boxer Devin "The Dream" Haney, who is 27 wins, no losses, no draws, 15 wins by way of knockout, 23 years of age, 5'8" with a 72-inch arm reach. With that said, it would make for an official undisputed showdown at the lightweight division. History will be created because you will have the official 7th undisputed 4 major sanctioned belt Ring Magazine lineal champion in the history of the sport of boxing, and you will do so in a premier glamour division at the lightweight division, okay? Well-renowned division. So you would do so creating history, and for George Kambosos Jr., he'll be with DHP Promotions, Devin Haney Promotions, Matchroom CEO and promoter Eddie Hearn, and father trainer and manager Bill Haney, who obviously is the manager and controls DHP, Devin Haney Promotions. So with that said, he would get the highest payday of his career. We know this because his last fight against Teofimo Lopez was the highest payday of his career, and he did so with Eddie Hearn, DAZN, and Matchroom. Okay, so with that said, it seemed like a no-brainer. But George Kambosos Jr., who initially stated that after he beats Teofimo Lopez, sent a message to Devin Haney publicly on his social media, telling the world that after he beat Teofimo Lopez, then he would fight Devin Haney. He even told Devin Haney, it's no point going back and forth and wasting your energy with Teofimo Lopez because he'll never fight you. So after I beat him, we'll make the fight happen. So that's what George Kambosos Jr. stated. Well, after the fight, he stated that he knew he had to go through Devin Haney to be officially undisputed. And so he was planning on fighting Devin Haney immediately, but he wanted to weigh out his options. 3-division world champion superstar boxer Gervonta Tank Davis was on display the following week, December 5th, against Mexican star boxer Isaac Pitbull Cruz, as well as Devin Haney. He was fighting former IBF super featherweight Mexican superstar boxer world champion Joseph Jojo Diaz December 4th. So they fought on the same weekend. The lightweight division was on full display for a month of stretch because the following weekend after they fought, you had 2-time Olympic gold medalist, 3-division world champion, former unified lightweight world champion, superstar boxer Vasily high-tech Lomachenko, Ukrainian star, in action against former IBF lightweight world champion, star boxer Richard Comey. So the entire top of the lightweight division was on full display, okay, for a 3-week span. So George Kambosos, he stated that he wanted to weigh out his options. He stated that he wanted to, essentially go to the highest bidder in the most entertaining fight and legacy fight possible. And he wanted to do so in the down under, as he calls it, in Australia, okay? He wanted to have a homecoming fight in Australia. He said that his fans in Australia have been waiting for a massive showdown back home. And he stated that that's what he wanted to do. He wanted to take the fights back to Australia, okay? And he stated he wanted to have a stadium built or fight in a massive, big stadium to showcase his talents and bring awareness to the sport of boxing over in Australia and just have a homecoming fight overall, okay? So with that said, George Kambosos Jr., his temperature started to change, okay? He then started to tell the world he knew he was now undisputed. When he told the world initially he wasn't undisputed initially, okay? He had to go through Devin Haney to do so. He wanted to, it's not about money, it's about legacy and entertaining the fans, okay? And he wanted to fight the most entertaining fighter. So with that said, things are starting to unfold, and George Kambosos Jr., had entered negotiations with Lou DiBella, his promoter, and Devin Haney and his promoter. Also, Vasily Lomachenko, who beat Richard Comey via unanimous decision, he entered negotiations. Lomachenko is eventually going to become George Kambosos' WBO mandatory challenger. And so with that said, George Kambosos Jr. entered negotiations with them. But legendary promoter, top-ranked CEO and promoter Bob Arum, he doesn't have much interest in paying big money to George Kambosos Jr. for a fight for Vasily Lomachenko. And George Kambosos Jr. also wants a rematch clause, and Bob Arum doesn't believe in rematch clauses, okay? So he then stated that Devin Haney needs to sell his jewelry, his belongings, so he could pay the necessary purse to make the fight come to fruition, okay? And then now his team came out yesterday, if you weren't aware, and they stated that Devin Haney had priced himself out of a fight. They can't come up with a number to satisfy Devin Haney. And Vasily Lomachenko, a 2-fight deal is not going to be agreed upon because Bob Arum doesn't want to agree. And so they have set their sights and their focus on rising undefeated Mexican superstar, title contender, King Ryan Garcia, okay? Now, Ryan Garcia is an interesting fighter in the sport because he don't seem very interested in competing in the sport of boxing. Seems more interested in being a celebrity and a superstar, okay? Not so much of, legacy and building a legacy and actually competing within the sport of boxing. More so with the fame that comes along with his star power in the sport of boxing. He's 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 18 wins by way of knockout. He's 23 years of age, 5'10" with a 70-inch arm reach, okay? Last time we saw him in the ring was January of 2021, a year ago, against Olympic gold medalist, United Kingdom, UK, British superstar, title contender Luke Campbell, in which he was floored in the fight, got up, faced adversity, and knocked out, stopped Luke Campbell in the 7th round with a left hook to the liver. So with that said, George Kambosos stated that now they're going to turn their attention and their sights on Ryan Garcia since they can't get a deal done with Devin Haney and Vasily Lomachenko, according to George Kambosos' team, okay? And then you had his promoter, Lou DiBella, come out, and Lou DiBella stated that they sent Devin Haney an offer that Devin Haney and his team had turned down. Devin Haney, he came out, he disputed that. He told Lou DiBella, stop capping. You know you never sent us anything. We never received anything for us to even turn down, okay? And so Ryan Garcia and George Kambosos Jr., they started to jaw back and forth on social media as Ryan Garcia said that he'll stop he'll stop George Kambosos Jr. within 7 rounds. And so they were going back and forth. And it got to the point where George Kambosos Jr. decided that he's not going to pursue Ryan Garcia right now. He stated that Ryan Garcia is not a big enough fight to happen in Australia. He's a star here. So he said that Ryan Garcia is going to have to, be patient. He says, try not to get injured. Try not to trip and fall and hurt yourself because you know you're fragile. He stated, try not to hurt your limbs because you know you're always pulling out of fights. Try to stay, mentally healthy. And he's, just letting Ryan Garcia know, just stay focused for the future. And he stated that the biggest fights he can make, he wants the biggest fights against either Devin Haney now, the world champion, or Vasily Lomachenko in Australia, citing that Ryan Garcia is not a big enough fight for him in Australia. So he said he wants the biggest fights he could possibly make in Australia. And so the biggest fight to be made, it has to be Devin Haney, a world champion, or it's going to have to be Vasily Lomachenko. So he's telling Ryan Garcia now he's turning down the Ryan Garcia fight and letting the world know that's not going to be next. And he sends a message to Devin Haney and he says, Devin Haney, Lomachenko, somebody hurry up and accept the fight so we can have this fight in Australia. Again, he already knows that Bob Arum, now he's the champion, so he wants to secure himself in the future. He just witnessed what took place with the longest reigning champion in the sport of boxing and WBC, former WBC's featherweight world champion, superstar boxer, Mr. Gary Russell Jr., losing to his mandatory and Mark Maceo and not having a rematch clause. And now Mark Maceo is going to go about his way. And Gary Russell suffered an injury in the fight, and now he's out of luck. So George Kambosos Jr., he doesn't want to put himself in that situation. He wants to have a 2-fight rematch clause, okay? And so with that said, he's telling, he wants that with Lomachenko, but Bob Arum doesn't believe in rematch clauses. Lomachenko didn't have a rematch clause with Teofimo Lopez. Teofimo Lopez didn't have a rematch clause with George Kambosos Jr., and so on and so forth, right? Bob Arum is on record saying he don't believe in rematch clauses because if the fighters truly want to do it again, they'll come to terms and make it happen again. He doesn't like to force it upon them. So with that said, George Kambosos wants to secure himself for the future should he lose to Vasily Lomachenko. And so now he's saying that, he's telling Devin Haney to hurry up and make the fight happen. George Kambosos Jr. has a lot of, flaking going on. It's a lot of contradiction going on with George Kambosos Jr. So we're just going to have to see how this unfolds and plays out. But this saga definitely needs to come to an end. You had Hall of Fame, iconic Olympic gold medalist, superstar, retired boxer, Andre SOG Ward, who turned now colorful analyst for and boxing pundit for top-ranking ESPN. He's frustrated. He's saying that he wishes that George Kambosos Jr. just quickly makes a decision and chooses somebody to fight and stop going back and forth and dragging it out. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. But that's all I got for y'all. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. You haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button. Hit the like button. Hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Raw. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.
Garcia, you're watching Blue Blood Sports TV.